My name's Sally Peace. I'm a kinesiologist. I've been doing this for nearly 30 years. And when I first learned to sway, it was quite basic. It was a case of standing in front of the fridge and deciding what was for lunch. So it was like I'd sway towards what was best for me to eat and away from what wasn't a good idea. And then I'd go to the supermarket and do the same, swaying on what to buy and what not to buy. So what the sway is, for those that don't know, it's the natural response of us to go towards what we do like and away from what we don't. And our cells do this all the time. Apparently, the scientists have put them in little Petri dishes and they put something in there that isn't good for them and all the cells move away. And we know that with people. If I'm with somebody I'm really fascinated by, I'll lean in to talk to them. And if something they're saying I don't like so much, I'll lean away. So it's a very natural response that we have. And now I'm using something called the energy alignment method with the sway, because it's a very easy 5-step method using the sway to be able to transform our energy. So it's great to use it, the first 2 steps that a lot of you know about, but to be able to take it to the next step where we transform our energy and then we create what we do want, I find is really life-changing. So what the sway does, it shows us what's in our energy. We can ask questions to find out what we're aligned to. We can identify limiting thoughts and beliefs. We can recognize or become aware of old patterns that we might have inherited. We can notice stuck energy from childhood or at any time in our lives. We can identify emotional set points when you get stuck on an emotion and you can't shift it. That's something we can work with and then transform it. And I think one of the greatest parts of this is we're able to access the subconscious. And it's all very well, lots of methods to use the conscious things we have in our mind, but it's the subconscious that is kind of steering us through life. Stuff that we are not aware of. So when I started with this method, I found that I'd got an awful lot of stuff stuck in my aura that I was carrying that was somebody else's energy. I'd been doing kinesiology a long time and I thought I was a strong person. I could take on other people's problems. And so I was walking around with a lot of energy in my energy that wasn't mine. So I found it really life-changing to be able to identify, release and transform all that heavy energy that was in my aura and other places, but mainly the aura. So I found it completely changed my life and set me off on another direction. So I'm going to teach you these 5 steps. We'll go through the basics to start with. For those that don't know the sway, we'll do the first steps and actually put them into practice and have a stand up and a little sway. But I'll just talk you through it all first and I'll demonstrate it for you for those that haven't seen it. I think it's helpful to see what the sway is rather than just talk about it theoretically. So I'll stand up now and I'll just show you what my sway is. I'm going to stand side on so you can see me move. And what I usually do is I ask my sway to show me a yes. And mine goes forward. Show me a no. Mine goes back. And then what we're going to do is when you stand up and have a go in a minute after I've talked about it, is ask some questions you know the answers to, just to get the feeling of your energy. You are not making yourself move forward or back. You're allowing your energy to pull you. So for me, it's a kind of a pull from the chest, sometimes from lower in the body. And at the back, there's like a pull there that pulls me back. So if I was to say, my name is Sally, my energy says yes. If I said, my name is Fred, my energy would go backwards. If I say, I am 21 years old, it says no. I am 60 years old. It says yes. I live in Colchester. That's a very strong yes. I live in Southampton. Whoa, that's a strong no as well. So you'll find that maybe when you start, if you're very new to this, that your sway doesn't move very much. And the clearer your energy, sometimes it moves faster. So if you're on a subject where your body wants to go, yes, it might throw you forward quite a long way. So when we stand up and do this, we want to make sure there's nothing in the way of you, in front or behind of you. Don't have any sleeping dogs lying in front of you, any carpets that could be tripped over, any corners of coffee tables around. But we're not getting up yet. I'm going to talk you through it first. The first 2 steps we'll do first. Step 1 is you ask a question, and step 2 is you move. Your body moves like I showed you mine did. The question that we ask has to be very clear, and just to allow ourselves to answer in yes or no. You can't ask how or why, because the body can't answer that with a yes or a no. So asking the questions is usually what most people find a little bit tricky at first, because they go, well, I don't know what to ask. I can see there's a problem, but I don't know what to ask. So sometimes it takes a little bit of practice. Best if you can stand up with your feet hips width apart in a space away from any obstacles. Take a breath, relax, and just be curious. So this is the step where we ask a simple question that can be answered with a yes or a no, and to just relax about it. Just be curious, playful, interested. Doesn't matter if it works or not type attitude. Is my name whatever? Do I live in wherever? Am I 21 years old? Or whatever age you want to play with. And then you might want to take a deep breath. You might want to move your body just to relax it, because sometimes we'll go into that state of, this has got to work. I want to make this work, or, oh, I'm not very good at these things. It probably won't work for me. So we just want to let go of all that. Just relax, let the body move. And usually forwards is yes and backwards is no. If you do any other strange swaying, then that's something I'd have to look into with you. But it's just an indication of what's happening in our energy. Has anybody got any questions? And I'd also like to hear those that do know how to sway. How does it feel to you to sway?
My question is that when my daughter sways, her yes is backwards and her no is forwards. So the opposite to mine. And so we've just left, not worried about that. So I just assume that that's just her way of swaying, or whether that's something we should think about working on.
You can ask the sway.
Okay. Yeah.
Ask the sway. Ask your sway if to do anything about it, and ask hers.
Okay, awesome. I'll do that. And then the way when I sway, I feel it a bit lower than you suggested. Mine's more like my solar plexus. It's just like a pull forward, and then I guess it is a pull back. But I always find that my no is often slower than my yes for some reason.
Oh, that's interesting.
But when we did some clearing not so long ago, my sway felt different, which was really interesting. I hadn't noticed that before.
Sometimes I feel like there's 2 hands that hold my shoulders and pull me backwards. If it's a real deep, strong no. Sometimes it feels like there's a hand behind me pushing me. It's just different every time.
Do you have to say it out loud, or can you say it in your head?
It's better to say it out loud. Apparently,
okay.
About the tongue connects us to our hearts. So you can do it silently in your head if you're somewhere where you can't speak. But I think it has more power if you say it out loud.
Okay, thank you.
I have a few questions about how I experiment with it. One is I also ask either or. I decide on this side or this side. Do I want to do this or this? And I sway to the sides. Does that work for you or for someone else?
Oh, I see. So you give it 2 options and it goes
to
the option. If it works for you, it works for you. Yeah. I think if you're getting success with that, does it feel right for you to do it?
It does, yes.
Again, I'd ask the sway. If you've got a clear sway, then say, is this method best for me? What we normally do, though, is we normally ask one question at a time. And we say, well, actually, I'd take that even further. I'd get clear on each question first. So when we have resistance to something, we don't get a clear answer. So if you give your sway an option of 2 things and you've got more resistance on one than the other, it will take you to the one that's got less resistance. But what an ideal way is to do is use this 5-step process on each choice. So there's no resistance to either choice. And then you can ask if it's for my highest good to do this or this. It would be a clearer answer.
Okay.
I guess you haven't cleared on these choices before. You're just asking where you are now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, once I've shown you the 5 steps, then perhaps you can clear on each choice, and then you just know. It would be very clear to you which one to choose, because it's our resistance that makes it hard to choose. For me, if it's a yes, it's like, oh, I don't even have to ask the sway. It's a yes. But it's those ones where you go, oh, do I really want to do that? I'm not really sure if that's right for me. That shows there's some resistance on that question. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Any other questions?
Yes. Another one is I do it for my plants, for example, asking, does it need water or does it need something? And I get an answer in my sway. What do you think about that?
I'd also ask, do I need water? Do I need food? Because sometimes we project our needs onto something else.
Okay.
And I'd also question the word need. I might say, would the plant benefit from some water now? So that's getting into fine tuning. But yes, asking those questions is great. Yeah. I would ask myself as well, if that popped into my head, do I need water? That's what I would ask. But it might be just the plant, might be. I just feel that everything's a reflection of us. So if we see something around us and we've got a question about it, it might be something for us to look at too. But you can ask your sway, is this the right thing for me to do? Is it for my highest good to ask about my plants? But we can definitely sway on any of the questions, because anything that you ask me will be tainted with my energy. So it's like, what's clear in your energy, this is more important. And that's why we use the sway. It's because you're using your energy to ask the questions from. You're not asking some other authority somewhere else, or, you know, a professional in their field, because every professional in their field has got their story around whatever they tell you. So I invite you to stand up, find a space where there's no obstacles, and then just stand with your feet hip width apart. Take a breath. Have your knees soft. Maybe move your hips to make sure you're relaxed around the hips. I sometimes shrug my shoulders and just get myself in a relaxed position where I'm not worrying about my body too much. And then ask your sway to show you a yes, and just allow yourself to be pulled in whatever way your body wants to go. And if it doesn't move, don't worry. We'll just go on to the next question. And then ask your energy to show you a no, and just allow yourself to be pulled backwards. So then ask, is my name? And then say your name or somebody else's name, and see if you can confirm your own name. The only time this doesn't work is if you don't like your name, if there's something about your name that you're resistant to. And then ask, is my name Fred or some other name? And then ask about where you live. Again, this might not be clear if you want to move house or you don't like where you live, but you can ask, do I live in? And then say your hometown. And then say, do I live in? And say somewhere where you don't live. And it can be really interesting, because it can guide you that, you know, maybe you want to move house, maybe you don't like living here, and it can interfere with your sway. But most people will get a yes for where they live and a no for where they don't live. And then the next question is your age. am I 21 years old? And then am I, and then say your real age. And again, if you've got an issue with your age, you can have an interference on this question. I know sometimes people forget their age and say the wrong age, which makes me smile. And they say, oh, I keep getting a no for my age. And then they remember they've had another birthday and they got their age wrong. And there, it just proves that your sway is very accurate. And then ask another question that you know the answer to. Any question you can think of. Your profession, your hobby. Do I have a dog? Do I have a cat or cats? And then ask some questions that you know are not true. And I'll just leave you a few moments to play with that. So another thing you can do is ask about your favorite colors. Is my favorite color red? Is my favorite color orange? Is my favorite color yellow? You probably already know your favorite color and just sway on it and just confirm that is the color that's your energetic favorite color. And then it's quite interesting. If you found your favorite color, do you actually have that color? Are you wearing it? Is it in the room? And now what I'd like you to do is to find a color that you don't like, a color that you're resistant to. So I'd phrase it, am I resistant to the color red? Or you might know what color it is you don't like, and you can go straight there. Mine was red and black. At different times I've cleared them both. So find a color you don't like that you're resistant to. For those that know how to sway, if you come across a color you're resistant to, you can ask a few more questions if you like. And once you've found a color that you're resistant to or that you don't like, maybe write it down so you don't forget, because we're going to be talking a bit before we carry on. The next step is we have many options to how to explore energy. You can feel the resistance in your body. That's tuning into your body and just feeling it somewhere in your energy field. Another way to work with your energy is numbers, is how many of something do I have? Like how many resistances to this color do I have? And if it was an emotion, it might be, how many anger do I have about this color? We won't be doing that today, but I'm just going through it so you know the options. The other way of experiencing your energy is, what does it feel like emotionally? Because you might be living with it, but not notice there's an actual emotion attached to it. And when you actually ask yourself and you really go into it and you go, come on then, what do I really feel about that yellow? Well, actually, it's a bit yucky and it reminds me of custard when I used to have it at school and I didn't like it, you know, whatever it is. So we can do the emotion side it. Either the emotion that you feel for that color, or you can go down a list of emotions. On the internet, there's lots of lists and you can just sway on which emotion is relative to the clearing that you're doing. You can ask further questions like, did this begin in this life? How old was I? Does it involve another person or an event? So like my dislike of black was because I was at this funeral and my mother told me to wear an orange dress for the funeral and everyone else was wearing black, and they criticized me for not wearing black, but I just went into resistance about black after that. And yeah, to me, that's quite extensive in your life. Black is everywhere. So that was one of the questions I used. Vision is the other option. You can see in your mind's eye, describe the picture. So you might be looking at the color and go, oh, that reminds me of sun or heat, and I don't like the sun or heat. Or like I said about the red color, it reminds me of blood, and I was not keen on blood at the time when I felt like that. So I want you to think about the color that you are resistant to, the color that you don't like. I want you to feel into your body and notice what happens in your energy when you think about that color. So you might get tension in your shoulders or feel a dropping sensation in your belly or tension somewhere. So notice how you feel when you think about that color that you're resistant to. And just make a note of it if you've got a pen and paper handy. So it might be in your belly or shoulder or all over your body. Does it feel like it's heavy or light? How big is that sensation? What shape is the sensation? Is the feeling inside your body or outside your body? So you're giving a shape to the feeling of the energy in your body. So you're thinking about the color that you're resistant to and you're feeling it in your body or around your body. Just write down those words, how you describe the feeling in your body about that color. And this isn't just about color, and you'd be doing this on any subject. You could be doing it on any phrase or belief or thought or pattern you have in your life. You can just feel it in your body. But today we're just going to do color. So the next step is we're going to transform that and release your resistance to that color. So you can stand up and release, or you can sit down. And what we'll be doing is we're going to say the statement, I'm ready to release this. And then it's the name of the color for you that I'm feeling about the color. Then you say it feels heavy, suffocating, whatever it is for you. And then we say, I release it from my energy in all forms and all levels at all points in time. I'm going to lead you through it. I'm going to leave a gap in the sentence for you to fill in your color and how it felt in the body.
If I have a resistance to release?
Oh, then you have to release the resistance. Releasing. Yes. Yes. I'm ready to release the resistance to releasing in all forms, on all levels, at all points in time. Do you want to say it with me? I'm ready to release this resistance.
I'm ready to release this resistance.
To releasing this resistance. Yeah.
Releasing this resistance.
In all forms.
In all forms,
all levels,
on all levels,
all points in time.
and all points in time.
I'm ready to release this resistance of releasing the resistance.
I'm ready to release the resistance of releasing the resistance.
In all forms,
In all forms,
on all levels.
on all levels, in all points of time.
Take a deep breath, move your body around, just let the energy move. That's quite common, that somebody will go to release something and not want to let it go. So that's a good one to bring up, thank you. I'm going to say the words, you repeat it after me. You're all muted so you can say it out loud. And as you say the release statement and you fill in the gaps of whatever your colour was, notice how it feels as you say it. You might feel something moving in your body and it's quite interesting to notice the energy. So we're going to say the feeling in the body first. I'm ready to release this, and then describe the feeling in the body. That I'm feeling about the color, and then say which color it is. I release it from my energy in all forms, on all levels, at all points in time. I'm ready to release this feeling in my body. Describe it. That I'm feeling about the color. I release it from my energy in all forms, on all levels, at all points in time. I'm ready to release and describe the feeling in your body that I'm feeling about the color, and say the color. I release it from my energy in all forms, on all levels, at all points in time. Then take a deep breath, move your body around, let the energy move. The other things that you can use this for, it's usually used for like thoughts and beliefs and patterns we have in our lives. And I think I said before about emotions that you might got stuck with, traumas you might not have processed. And we usually use the 5-step process for that. So when I was saying, well, I'm ready to release this, you'd be putting in there the inability to move on, feeling stuck or grounded or held in a certain place. And then you'd go on to say, I release this from my energy in all forms and all levels, all points in time. So rather than the color experience, you just substitute it for any other words that you feel like you'd like to release. When you get deeper into this, you can explore more deeply. But today we're just talking about, you can just identify through the sway what you need to release. And just ask, do I need to release the feeling I can't move on, or the feeling that I'm stuck or grounded, until the sway says, no, I don't need to know anymore. And then you do the release statement. So it's a very adaptable process. You can use it for all sorts of things. So I'm just going to list the sort of things you can release with this process. The common things that I see that people come up with is, I don't like myself, or I feel a bad person, or I can't do anything right, that I'm unlovable, or nobody appreciates me, people are untrustworthy, or people take advantage or hurt me. These are just common ones that come up. They're not necessarily for you. You'd sway on which ones were right for you. It might be the world is a dangerous place or not safe. Feeling unacceptable, or what you do is unacceptable. It could be you feel bored or boring. You might feel incapable, a failure, or scared of success. You can have both of those together, feeling of failure and scared of success. They're not necessarily separate. Literally, the possibilities are endless. We've all got different life experiences, and it can be, you see anything in the world that you don't like, you can just clear on it and then investigate it within your own energy, what that brings up in you. It could be, I don't know, you see a tree being chopped down and it breaks your heart, and it would be, you could sway on, when did that feeling begin for me? And you might say it takes you back to when you were a child, and then you could identify with the sway, what age was that? And you might go, is between 0 and 5, and your sway might go, yes. Is it age 1? No. Age 2? No. Age 3? Yes. And then, so you know, age 3, something broke your heart about a tree being chopped down. And then you'd ask your sway, is there anything else I need to know about that? And you can keep asking questions until you've got all the information you need. And then you ask the sway, is there anything else I need to know? And then it goes, no. And then you do the release statement like we've just done. You know, I'm ready to release and let go of my heartbreak when I see a tree being chopped down that started for me at age 3. So there's just a way of committing to releasing it from your energy, becoming aware of what it is you're releasing. And then by saying, I release it from my energy in all forms, on all levels, at all points in time, you're kind of blanketly covering all areas that you have no conscious understanding of or awareness. And I think it's a good statement for a simple statement, but it covers a lot of ground. So I don't expect people that are new to this to understand it straight away, but you can use the sway for any of these questions and asking yes and no questions that pop up into your head. And you keep saying, is there anything else I need to know, until the sway says no, and then you do the release statement. I've thrown a whole load of stuff at you, so it's quite a lot to take in. I appreciate that. So have you got anything to add about releasing these things that's cropping up in your head that you'd like to share with anybody that might not know it?
Yeah, just one thing that I found helpful to remember is when I've gone through it, and sometimes it can go through quite quickly, I found, is just to ask if there's anything else I need to know or anything else I need to do. So I know I've come to the end of that kind of clearing session. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because if you don't gather all the information that your body wants to show you, then you're only clearing part of what you're clearing. But when you're starting, it all seems a lot to take in. So it's like, I can only give so much information today, or else it'd be totally overwhelming, wouldn't it? And then you clear the overwhelm.
The other thing I say is, can I leave this now and come back to it? I do ask that question, because sometimes if there seems to be a lot and it's going on and on and on and on, and I know I've got to go out somewhere or do something else, I just check in that I can leave this now and come return to it. That's along those sort of lines, if that's helpful.
Good idea. Yeah, very good idea.
I used to get really hung up on not knowing what to ask, what questions to ask, and I would get stuck. And then I finally, I think, let go of needing to know where everything came from and why I have it, and just that I was allowed to clear it. And sometimes that would lead me to more questions. So I'd just do a little bit, you know, I'd clear, maybe I only cleared an aspect of it. So then I would know questions to ask because it was clearer to me, or it would just be gone. But it felt like I had to maybe give myself permission just to not need to know all the answers, you know, just to accept that it was okay just to let it go. And the other thing is just sometimes, you know, pondering it and thinking about it and mulling it over for a bit and then come back to it. Because if you know, getting stuck can get a bit frustrating and I don't know what questions to ask. But then usually if I just sort of mull it over for another day or a dog walk or something, and then I can come back to it and I can ask the questions, or, you know, you've just voiced it and it's gone away anyway.
Or clear on, I don't know what questions to ask. And then quite often just intuitively it pops in from somewhere, you know, you're doing the washing up, you suddenly go, oh, I know. And then you can move on from that. But anything that crops up, you just clear on it. You know, I don't know the questions. I don't know where this is going. I don't want to do it. I'm resistant to doing the clearing. you just clear it. I know it sounds a little bit blankety and but that's the way forward. There's no point sitting in stuck energy, is there? You might as well do something about it. And saying a statement is one way of shifting some energy. Even if you don't shift it all in one day, you're shifting some of it. And to me, it's just like you're committing to release it. And I think sometimes the investigating into all the details can be your mind wants that information before it's willing to release. I used to have great fun going down rabbit holes, gathering all this information for people. And then I got to a point where I think, well, let's just make it simple. Am I ready to release this? Yes. Okay, let's go. So I don't gather very much information these days unless somebody really desires it for their mental curiousness. Because some of us are just that way inclined, aren't they? We like to investigate, we like to know the details. So in that case, then we do. But if it's a case of, well, I don't really mind where it comes from as long as I can let it go. So then we just say, I'm ready to let go of this feeling of being unacceptable. I release it now in all forms, all levels, all points in time. And it's just like the universe just allows that energy to whoosh through you, and then you're ready to move on to what you do really want to feel. I'm whizzing through it quite quick. I'm sure energetically it's all going in there somewhere, even if cognitively it doesn't make sense.
I was just going to say, sometimes I don't even know, I can't even put words to what the emotion is. And so, I will be triggered by something. So I will just use the broad statement. I release anything and everything that this person is showing me from my energy. So, whatever we're seeing is in our energy somewhere. And don't necessarily need to be specific, but just let it go, whatever it is, hand it over to the universe to work out what it is. I don't need the story, but accept that it's somewhere in my energy, whether it's past life or, deeply hidden or whatever it is. And that's the other thing I actually also, I find we've just done it on one level today, but releasing from the energy and releasing anything hidden from the energy, deeply hidden and very deeply hidden, going through those different levels also makes a big difference, because sometimes I'll think, well, I haven't got that in my energy and I won't find it. But when I look for it being very deeply hidden, that's when I find it.
I think there's levels to the work, because the people that are on my 6-week courses, they tend to go deeper as they go along the course. So at first it's just like trying to remember the words, just trying to get it in order and trying to get your sway to work. Because you might go into resistance about that. But then that's why I like doing the longer courses, because then somebody will hear what somebody else says and learn a little bit more information every day, like a drip feed. And then those that have been there for a few weeks on the course make amazing changes, and like a couple of weeks in, they're like swaying and clearing like pros, and I'm so impressed. But it's just the drip feed of information that I think is really helpful, and hearing what other people say. So somebody says, oh, I did this, or I did that, or I did it like this. And you go, oh, is that how you can do it? But in a short introduction, we can't go into all those details. There's only so much information that you can take in one go. But I do love doing courses, and I do like teaching this method over a period of time. So I do 6-week courses. I've got a year course going on, and I do one-to-ones. And I think the one-to-ones have got their value, because sometimes you need another person just to hold space for you. Sometimes when you just can't quite see which way to go in, somebody else just holding space can go, well, ask this or ask this. And then you get that, oh, yes, I get that. So although this is a fantastic tool for working on your own, so you don't have to book a therapist every time you've got an issue, and you don't have to find a partner to work with. It's lovely. You can just do it, wherever you are, whenever you just stand up and do a bit of swaying, or you can sit and sway. There are other ways of swaying, but mostly when you start, you stand up and sway. But sometimes it's nice to do it with somebody as well. So that's why I run courses and do one-to-one sessions. So we've done the first 4 steps of the process. We're up to step 5. Step 5 is, once we've released something, we manifest what we want instead of. So in this case, if we've gone from resisting a color, now we want to love that color, enjoy that color, allow that color to uplift us. So how we do that is there's also a body stance that we often take in EAM, which opens up our aura and allows us into a receiving position. And it's the putting your arms up like this in a funnel position with your palms facing upwards, standing up with legs slightly apart. And what that does is it opens up our energy. I don't know if you've ever felt the difference between sitting like this and standing like that. It's a totally different feeling, and it allows this new energy in. And what we're going to do, if you want to, you can stand up and do it. I hope you choose to get the full effect of it. And then I'll say the words for you to repeat. So I'll leave you for a moment just to get up, standing somewhere with your arms up. I am ready to allow myself to enjoy the color, and then say the color you've been working with. I allow this color to uplift me. I allow myself to love this color. I welcome this into my energy in all forms, on all levels, at all points in time. I am ready to allow myself to enjoy the color, and then say your color. I allow this color to uplift me in all forms, on all levels, at all points in time. I am ready to allow myself to enjoy the color, and say your color. I allow this color to uplift me now, to support me in all forms, on all levels, at all points in time. And just allow the energy, the supportive energy of this color to come into your energy. And as you gently and slowly lower your arms, picture that color being a friend to you, being supportive, being enjoyable to be with, and for it to uplift you. And just spend a moment with your color, allowing it into your life, allowing it to be one of your favorite colors now. And just feel how that feels. And then sit down when you feel ready. How did that feel? So I will leave you guys with this process to do. Do contact me if you want any more information or you want any help with it. December is the Play with Your Sway workshop at the end of December. I have a new 6-week course every 2 months. So there's one on the 1st of January, there's one on the 1st of March. The subject we're doing in January is happiness. So what we do is we clear anything that doesn't bring us happiness or doesn't feel centered on happiness. So we have a positive topic that we work around. The present one is on peace. So we're clearing everything that's not peace in our lives. And then the next one is happiness. It's just to give us a focus. It's the same work that we've done today, going through the 5 steps. The benefit of the group is that you hear from other people. You go, oh, I hadn't thought of that. Oh, yes, I can do that. And to me, it's about awareness. It just brings us more aware of who we really are. It takes us from our ego beliefs and thoughts into our true self. So I believe our true self is peace, is joy, is happiness. And we're releasing all those thoughts and beliefs that prevent us feeling that way. And it's a fascinating journey. There's so much to unfold from it. Thank you so much. And I'll see you somewhere sometime.